I'll tell you what the procedure is. The rules are being circulated to members of council. Now, I will now call for nominations. Now, if you wish to nominate a member, please press the request to speak button and I will recognize members in that order. Please state the name of the member you are nominating and you are not entitled to speak to the nomination. Huh? Yes. Request to speak. Yes, put your name up for request to speak. Okay, we'll start. Councillor Fletcher, everyone said they were okay. Councillor Mamalidi.
I want you to repeat the rules, Chair.
The rules are in front of you.
Madam Speaker, do we nominate one or more candidates?
That's a good question.
As many as you want.
I then would like to nominate two individuals that I think would serve well on that particular commission. Two individuals that serve.
Okay, you're not allowed to speak. You only have to nominate.
I thought I'd really outline why.
Just name it.
I nominate Councillor Carroll and Councillor Cho.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Parker.
I nominate Councillor Stintz.
Councillor Stintz.
I nominate Councillor Parker.
Councillor Cho.
Well, I was going to nominate myself, but I'm already nominated. So
Now, Councillor Cho, that was not a joke. Councillor Layton.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. I'm pleased to nominate Councillor Ajamari.
Councillor Cole.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to nominate Councillor Glenda Bearmaker.
Councillor Crawford.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to nominate Councillor Palacio and Councillor Pasternak.
Okay. Councillor de Bearmaker. Councillor Crisanti. And Palacio. That's who you've got. Councillor de Bearmaker.
Palacio and Pasternak. Palacio Pasternak.
Sorry, it was Palacio. I'm sorry. Let's not all speak at the same time. So Councillor Palacio and Councillor Pasternak. Right. That's who his nomination was. Sorry, I didn't hear that either. Councillor de Bearmaker.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Since he nominated me, I feel compelled and honoured to nominate Councillor Josh Cole.
Councillor Bala.
I'd like to nominate Councillor Mary Margaret McMahon.
Councillor Berardinetti.
I'd like to nominate Councillor J. Robinson.
Councillor Kelly.
Speaker, I'd like to nominate Councillor Crawford.
Councillor Crawford. Okay. All right. Councillor Grimes.
Nominate Councillor Milchin.
Okay. Are there any more? Going once, twice? Gone. Oh, sorry. Councillor Crisanti.
Councillor Crawford was nominated. Did I hear that?
Yes.
And
yes.
Councillor McMahon?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Then I'm good. Thank you.
Councillor Wong Tam.
Thank you very much. I'd like to nominate Councillor Gord Perks, please.
Councillor Perks. Councillor Carroll.
It's taken care of by Councillor Wong Tam.
Okay, I'm just going to wait for a few seconds in case a name pops up. Is that okay? Yeah, we are. We just wanted to get all the nominations. Okay, are there any further nominations? Are there any further nominations? I will ask a third and final time. Are there any further nominations? The nominations are now closed. Members, now this is how we will proceed. I will now call upon each of the nominees in the order that they were nominated. They are each entitled up to 5 minutes to address City Council if they wish. No extension of speaking time is permitted. Questions of the candidates are permitted, but under 27/136B of the Council procedures, the question period is limited to 10 minutes per candidate. At the conclusion of that, I will call upon the City Clerk to instruct you on the balloting process. Okay, well, just give us a minute so we can get the list forward. So, do you want me to start? Okay, we'll circulate a copy of the names. So we'll start. Okay, let's just hold on for 1 minute. You ready? Councillor Carroll, you're first. Okay, so we'll go to our first candidate, which is Councillor Carroll.
Take it away, Shelley.
Councillor Carroll.
Madam Speaker, I left my name on the ballot because in all of the conversation that's gone on these last few days, the names keep changing. What hasn't changed is the decision that we will take whether to spend or not to spend $1 billion in my area. I thought we were done and dusted, and I thought my interests were covered, but so much has changed just in the naming of those names. I'm not sure who's in charge. Unless I take charge on behalf of my own residents, and having done that, then proceed to take that same decision-making filter and that same set of practices that I will use on their behalf, and therefore to extend them across the whole city. I've said this in writing, and I've said it to all of you. Extend them across the whole city, because what is the transit system if it is not this city's very circulatory system? What exists in the core of this circulatory system? Important stuff going on here. Large veins doing important work. But these are important veins too. Important things have to happen all the way out. And if this city grows and you don't keep taking care of interests, what happens at the very end of this circulatory system? This part dies. You might as well cut it off. This part will die too. So we have to simply decide that it's about the whole system, that we're going to do right by every rider in the system, and that we're going to listen to the science of transportation planning. It is, in this day and age, 100 years hence, it is a science. And we can be provided with all the information we need, and we can make rational decisions, and we can have corporate citizens help us make those decisions. But there is a science to this. The politics The politics is, whether we like it or not, how we budget for it, how we finance it, and how we plan it. And those are political decisions. That's why we have to stay in the mix as councillors, in some ratio or other. But I haven't been confident, as these conversations have gone on the last 10 days, that the plan we had was going to end up on the table in this list of names. And so when my name showed up by a very unlikely nominator, I could hardly take it off when I then watched as names appeared that I hadn't expected to appear, nominated by unlikely people. So there are any number of people on here who could do a very good job at the TTC, but I'm staying on the list, and as I vote for the other members, it will be that. It will be people who understand. It will be those people that I have some comfort understand that we do have to take the science of transportation planning and the political decisions of the fiscal funding formula that will build it and marry the two together. And if I've ever had some inkling that that would be the kind of thing that you as a commissioner would be prepared to do in hours and hours of work, that's the person I'll be writing on those ballots. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you.
Well done.
Councillor Cho.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. I've been councillor for over 20 years, and I have never sat in the TTC Commission, but I'm applying to sit and become a commissioner. As you know, I'm councillor from the northeast corner, farthest corner from downtown, and we have a huge development. So it's expanding so fast. For example, Morningside Heights, that alone has developed over 3,500 houses. The population grows so fast. In other words, the demand for ridership going fast, but the TTC doesn't meet the requirement. The second thing is my area, especially Melbourne community, is one of the high needs, and the unemployment rate is very high. People need to come down and look for a job. It takes 2 hours sometimes to get here. And the third thing is we have a very diverse community, and we have so many new Canadians, immigrants, and poor people. They cannot afford to buy cars. So they have to rely on the TTC, but they don't get the service that they require. And the fourth thing is I consider myself as very open-minded, and I could say a very creative thinker. This means that I'm open to new ideas for better transit, not just for my area, but for the whole city of Toronto. And I'm open to have all kind of transit plan, new revenues, and how to increase the ridership. The fifth point, I'm willing to work outside the box. That means I will try to get more transit information from other countries, not just within Toronto or Metro Links, but other countries or the urban centers. For example, originally I'm from Seoul, Korea, 45 years ago. Today, Seoul has the best subway system all around the world. At the same time, I understand that they have a private sector running buses, etc. So I'm more than willing to get there all the information possible. The sixth point, finally, I consider myself a very environmentally conscious councillor, and I'm willing to work with any councillor, city staff, TTC staff, transit experts with respect to subways, LRT, BRT, etc., if I'm appointed as a TTC commissioner. Therefore, I'm humbly request your support to be appointed to the TTC Commission, and appreciate your kind assistance in this matter. Thank you very much.
Councillor Stintz.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, for the opportunity to address my colleagues and speak about my experiences at the TTC and ask for your consideration for continuing to stay on for the next 2 years. I've had the wonderful opportunity of being on the Commission as a Commissioner and as the Chair. And in that role, I've learned a lot about the City and about my colleagues and about the TTC in a way that I never thought I could. I had the incredible opportunity to work with Gary Webster. I had the wonderful opportunity to have Andy Byford recruited from Sydney, Chris Upfold from London. And when we talk about our transit system, it just pains me to think that we don't speak of it in terms of a world-class system because, in fact, we have world-class talent that wants to come here. That wants to come here and actually make our system all that it can be and more. And in the past 16 months, I've had the absolute privilege to be part of the customer service initiatives that I know every single person in this chamber shares. Together, we've implemented Presto. Together, we've implemented a customer service liaison panel. Together, we've said that our riders matter, and we want to reach out to them and hear from them what they want out of our system. Together, we've implemented the Suicide Crisis Link hotline, and so that we've provided a way for people to get help to those that need it the most. Together, we launched the introduction of the new subway cars. Together, we're wrestling with the new streetcar order, and those are going to be delivered in the next 18 months, and all of Toronto will benefit from those new streetcars. Together, we have wrestled through difficult transit plans and expansion plans and thought about how best do we spend $8.4 billion to benefit every corner of this city. Together, as a council, we have done what I believe to be the work of council to making sure that our transit system serves those who need it most. Together, we've wrestled through budget cuts. Together, we've wrestled through fare hikes. Together, we've wrestled through bus route reallocations. And it hasn't always been easy, but together we've made it happen. And I've had the privilege to be the chair of the Commission at a time when we've undergone some serious change and significant restructuring, and it's been an honor every step of the way. And I want to take a minute now, because it might be my final moment as chair, to thank you. Because when I asked my colleagues to place their trust in me, they did. And I want to thank you for that. Because certainly we haven't had easy votes. We haven't had easy times. And I think it's fair to say that the transit system touches every single one of us, whether we are on it every day or we rely on it to function or we're in our cars and we need it to work efficiently. And so I also want to thank the employees, because I've had the incredible opportunity to work alongside some of our remarkable employees and learn firsthand the job that they do to keep our system running. And I can tell you we have a remarkable number of our 12,000 employees who are so dedicated to this system and so dedicated to the city and so dedicated to the council. And they, more than anybody, want the TTC to regain its status as world class and to have the pride that we all know we have in our system that serves us all. So I won't take too long, but I want to thank you all for the trust you've placed in me so far. And I would ask you for your consideration to continue to serve as a Commissioner on the Transit Commission that we all value so much. Thank you.
Councillor Parker.
Well, quite honestly, the only remarks I intended to deliver today on anything relevant to the matter before us now are the remarks I delivered earlier in these proceedings. And frankly, I don't intend to repeat them. So I hope you were listening the first time round. Apart from that, I simply offer up my record of service as a Commissioner over the past 16 months. And I extend my thanks to my colleagues who served with me on the Commission, both those who are up for reappointment as part of this process and those whose names have not been put in nomination. Thank you all. It's been an honor serving with you.
Thank you, Councillor Parker. And before you sit down, if you can come up here for about 5 minutes. Councillor Al-Jamari.
Thank you, Speaker. I, like Councillor Parker, won't take up much time. I think that my years of service, especially on the Commission, speak for themselves. I built my reputation on being a very strong advocate, both for my community, for public transit, and for the City of Toronto as a whole. I've built my reputation on speaking truth to power. I will continue to do that, and I will give it my best shot One of my primary roles on the Commission was to protect Finch, and I believe that I've done that, and I will continue to do that. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Councillor De Beermaker, you have 5 minutes.
You're in. Get out of your seat.
Sorry.
Thank you, Madam. Mr. Chair, Mr. Speaker. They call my ward Scarborough Centre for a reason. It's in the centre of Scarborough. Virtually all the lines run through my ward, or in the case of Kennedy subway stations, are a couple concession blocks east of my ward. But I think certainly I understand the feelings of people who are to the north, the south, the east, the west, and of course in central Scarborough as well. And I think whatever the future plans for transit are, they come through my ward. The subway or LRT lines will have a profound impact on the community that I represent, and I think I'd be there very proudly serving as a strong voice for Scarborough and the rest of the city. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Councillor De Beermaker. Councillor Palacio.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker. First and foremost, I'd like to say that I'm honored and humble for giving an opportunity to serve as a member of the TTC Commission for the last year and a half. As Councillor Steens indicated a number of achievements that we have accomplished. One that perhaps we haven't touched bases on is that making the TTC as an essential service. As we know, that was a subject that's been fully debated for some time. Personally, I did put my heart and soul for a few years to make sure that this happened, and I'm very proud of that achievement. In terms of the new composition as it's been proposed, I believe that to bring this executive level of experience that collectively would represent a range of skills, knowledge, and experience on transportation, planning, marketing, business, and so on. I think that's the kind of thing that we really need to supplement and complement what we need to make this beautiful city of Toronto a world-class city. But we have to act responsibly, and I think that if we put our personal interests aside and we put the interests of this great city ahead of us, I think we can go a long way. I'm 100% committed to continue serving this great organization with all my heart. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Councillor Palacio. The next name on the list is Councillor Pasternak. I don't see him in the spot. That looks an awful lot like Councillor Davis. So we'll hold him down and we'll proceed with Councillor Cole.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you for the nomination. I'd just like to start by saying, you know, while what we've discussed here today and in recent days about transit gets a lot of headlines, at the end of the day, most of my residents want to know why the Dufferin bus is delayed again and why the service they expect often isn't there. And while I know it's tempting and sexy to get on top of these kind of issues, we have to, at the end of the day, realize that there's a service we provide and a service we have to provide well. And I think that's what I'd like to make the focus if I was so chosen to serve. I think we've got to move on from the debate and divisive debate we've had over the last few days or months, and we'll probably have until the end of this month, and get going. Every day we delay on one of these transit projects, the costs escalate rapidly. As we all know, if we would have built the Eglinton line as it was planned to be built, it would have cost $800 million to have a subway out to an airport. Now we're looking at billions and billions of dollars of costs, and we have to move forward. So we have to move past this debate, move forward. And having worked at Canada's largest transportation hub at Pearson Airport, through their multi-billion-dollar expansion, and having worked for international transit developers on projects, we realize that there's a balance that has to be struck with an expanding system, but retaining a high level of customer service that our riders expect and demand, and they should expect. So I, again, thank you for the nomination. Some construction work going on here as I speak. and hope you consider me for the commission. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Cole. We'll double back and pick up Councillor Pasternak.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. You're most gracious. I was just on the phone with my wife explaining why I'll be late for a 7 o'clock wedding. But, you know, I am honored to have my name put forward for serving on the TTC. And I can tell you that almost on a daily basis, I'm riding the TTC. And I not only ride the subways, but I also elect to go on the surface routes, the streetcars, the buses, to see how our system is operating, what our strengths are, what our weaknesses are, to see how some of our capital dollars are being spent. And I watch very closely at the customer service levels and what people are saying on our transit system. And I can tell you that there's no single solution to making up for 25 lost years in transit. Politicizing LRT is not the way to go. Politicizing subways is not the way to go. What we need to make strong decisions, smart choices in certain parts of the city where those methods of transportation are appropriate. In some areas of the city, LRT is the appropriate solution. In other areas of the city, subway is the appropriate solution. I mean, we must work to make those goals met. Now, it is very difficult to have transit visioning unless you have the revenue tools. And that is the missing piece from this conversation. I realize that raising funds...
Okay, hold on, Councillor Pasternak. Sorry to interrupt, but there's far too much noise going on. I can't hear anything. Councillor Mihevik, Councillor Davis, Councillor Matlow. If you want to lobby, please go outside the circle. Okay? Councillor Fillion, Councillor DeGiorgio, Mayor Ford, everyone.
My speech is...
Please, it's not fair to Councillor Pasternak.
Is anyone listening?
Okay, Councillor Pasternak, your mic is on. Shh.
No.
Okay, you can continue.
Thank you. And I realize that missing from this conversation are the revenue tools to have an ongoing digging and transit strategy. We shouldn't be just looking at how to spend $8.2 billion. We should be looking at a 25, 30-year horizon where we have allocated funds, a Made in Toronto strategy where we can work to carve out some of the capital that we spend on projects in our local communities, carve out some of the capital that's being spent at the TTC, dispose of non-performing real estate assets, work on new revenue generation strategies that are shared beyond the borders of Toronto with GTA because clearly Torontonians cannot carry the burden of this transit system because it is benefiting the wider community. So just to summarize, I am prepared to honor the decisions of Council on February the 8th, 2012. I am prepared to honor the decisions of Council on March the 21st, 2012. I'm prepared to look and work with all of you to try and raise the money so we have a Made in Toronto strategy so that we can be constantly working on our different projects. I have spoken with many of you about what your transit priority are.
Okay, hold on. I'm sorry I keep interrupting, but Councillor Perks, Councillor Wong Tam, Councillor Matlow, please do your lobbying outside the circle.
Thank you, Madam. Just to summarize, I'm prepared to not only rubber stamp what comes from TTC staff, but thoroughly question and investigate many of the reports or recommendations that are coming through, to listen to everybody carefully about the transit projects that are important to them and their local communities, and working out a way that we can fund them and dig and keep building in the years ahead, to look at what other cities are doing across the world and seeing how they have built successful transit systems, many of these cities surpassing us in the last generation. Torontonians want a safe, reliable, affordable transit system. They want to be accommodated about it. But one thing they do not want is the paralysis, the political paralysis. So we have a moment in time here to really make a difference. We have a a crossroads of sorts, a choice between two futures, where we can get on with the job, we can have the money made in Toronto, we can build our transit strategies, and we can accommodate the various corners of the city. So with that, I once again thank you for your attention and the nomination, and I appreciate your support when it comes voting time.
Thank you. Councillor Mary Margaret McMahon. Just one moment. Okay.
So it's an honor to be nominated. Thank you very much, Councillor Bilal, but I'm going to respectfully decline. I need to focus. I have a $400 million TTC storage yard facility going in my ward, as you've heard ad nauseum, against my wishes. I need to be watching that. I'll be watching that like a hawk. As it's, I'm very concerned about the effect on the busiest intersection in East End of Toronto with 58,000 cars, cyclists and pedestrians. I need to be on top of that. So I will do that from not being on the commission, but from the sidelines, breathing heavily on you who are elected onto it. I'm also going to be pushing for the downtown relief line. I take the transit every day. I am squished in. This morning there were 2 delays, southbound at Summerhill, westbound at Keele, and we need to be on top of that.
Councillor McMahon, I'm sorry, but if you declined, you don't get to
I still want my 2 cents in worth of transit. I take it. Councillor Thompson, I take it. Do you?
I'm sorry.
And I'll be pushing for the waterfront line. Thank you.
Councillor Robinson.
Thank you very much. It's also an honor to be nominated. I appreciate this opportunity. I want to start off by thanking the current TTC commissioners, all of them, for their service. It's been a very challenging time, and it's important to acknowledge their time, energy, and commitment. You might question why, after 20 years of being a civil servant at City Hall, that I might return. And I can tell you without a doubt, one of the top reasons I've come back is transit. I'm passionate about it, and as many of you have said today, I ride the Red Rocket every day, and I couldn't be prouder. As well, my children ride the Red Rocket and the bus lines, and I hear feedback all the time about buses not showing up on time, making them late for school. My friends ride transit, and most importantly, my constituents. I'm not sure if you're aware of Ward 25, but the north side, my north border will be impacted by the Shepherd line. My entire west border of my ward is the Yonge line, and the south border of Ward 25, just south of Ward 25, is the Eglinton line. So my ward is basically horseshoed into some of the critical activity that will be happening over the next little while. Every day as I ride the TTC, I see the success stories, but I also see the challenges. And I see the frustration on riders' faces. I want to share with you, if you read the report and some of the qualifications that the city manager was looking for, many of those things I possess from my former work here at the city: strategic business management, creating business plans and strategies. Customer service excellence is something I've always worked toward, and I'm trained in that, as well as marketing management. And so I think I could play a role in increasing ridership and bringing riders back to the transit system. As many of you also know, I've worked extensively on public-private partnerships throughout my entire career, as well as labor relations as a director in economic development, culture, and tourism. So that's a little snapshot. I believe very much it should be all about the riders. We need to elevate the current levels of service. We need to expedite and expand transit across our fair city. We need to find common ground and move transit forward. So I hope that you will consider my nomination. Thank you very much.
Carol, I see your name up there. Is that for a question? Is that for a question?
You mentioned my name. I'm sorry. You should have said you finished.
Oh, no, we're not finished the list yet. Okay. Councillor Crawford, speak.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I want to thank my esteemed colleague, Kelly Scarborough, colleague, for nominating me. As I have since I became a councillor, in any position I take, whether it's a board, on committee, I will take, if I'm nominated as a commissioner, or if I have been nominated, if I'm accepted by my colleagues as a commissioner, to take it with the integrity, respect, and honor that I have done so in the last year and a half. I've heard the comments from a lot of people. It's been on this floor, it's been from the public, it's been from the media that what we've been doing the last couple of weeks, couple of months has been out of whack. It really hasn't been working. When I look at the emails I've received over the last year and a half, this is the one file that has generated the most emails and responses into my office. And I'm sure it's no different with a lot of the other colleagues, even more than the shark fin ban, believe it or not. But I think what we need to do is refocus our work. Some changes will be happening. We've heard that. I don't necessarily think this has been our finest hour as a council. I think we need to sort of regroup. We need to bring some fresh faces, some fresh ideas, and start focusing on what we need to do for a transit system that focuses on the operations of this wonderful system that we have. We need to focus on the customer service, and that talks about the attention to detail, the detail that we have to get back to when we're looking at, when we're walking onto the subway, the cleanliness of it, how we treat the customers that use this service every day. Those are the items we have to focus on. Yes, we have to focus on the big issue items, and that's what we're doing, and we will be. But we really need to focus on those important issues, those day-to-day issues that we deal with. And I get those issues when I talk to riders, when I get those emails on how do we make this system better. If I'm elected onto this commission, that's what I'll be doing, and I look forward to your support. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Melchin.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Well, first and foremost, I'd like to tell my colleagues, I think over the years you've been able to come to expect from me that I approach every issue with an open mind, with fairness, and I try to always vote my conscience. And that's what I would certainly continue to do if I were given your confidence to continue on the TTC. I have served on the TTC now for a term and a half. I think there's something to be said for continuity, as well as for fresh eyes being brought onto the Commission. But I'm very proud of the work that we've done to finally begin to modernize an organization which delivers a huge amount of service to the residents of the city, that is one of the great transit systems in North America, but an organization that needs to really make a bold leap forward. And with some of the initiatives that we've just begun to see the fruits of, whether it's technology to provide more information to our riders, to different ways of organizing our employees to provide so that the work that they provide generates better results, such as the latest subway train cleaning initiative, and so many other things that we're doing. The TTC is getting back on track to not just move a lot of people, but make them happy about the experience that they're going to undertake. And we're also at a historic crossroads where there will be a great deal of expansion occurring. Construction is already underway. And some of those new ways of dealing or providing service, we've begun to implement them in the design of these new transit corridors. We have a lot more to do on that. So I ask for your support, for your confidence, to allow me to continue in that work, to support my colleagues on the Commission, and to also remember at the end of the day, the City of Toronto is the sole shareholder. So as a representative on the TTC, I have 3 fiduciary duties. To those who elect me first and foremost, to the corporation, which is the shareholder, sole shareholder of the TTC, and certainly to the TTC itself. And I've always tried, and I will continue to try to do my best for all three of those groups.
Councillor Perks.
Thank you very much, Speaker. Breaks my heart to say so, but I'm inspired by the example of Councillor McMahon. I won't stand.
Downtown relief line.
Okay, members of council, we will now proceed to balloting. Point of order, Councillor Carroll.
Thanks. I couldn't put it back on because it was taken off earlier. As I said earlier, my point of order after Councillor McMahon rose is that I will be taking my name off the list.
You're taking your name off the list?
Okay.
Did you take your name off the list?
Yes, I did.
Okay, members of council, we will now proceed to balloting. I will now ask the city clerk to instruct you on the balloting process.
We will now proceed to the balloting for members of the Toronto Transit Commission. There are 7 positions to elect. It requires a majority of ballots cast to be elected to one of the positions. Any candidate receiving a majority of ballots cast will be declared elected. If fewer than 7 people receive a majority of votes on the first ballot, Council will conduct a second ballot for the remaining positions with the remaining candidates on the ballot. On a second ballot, only those declared elected are removed from consideration. All other candidates are still eligible. We are now commencing the distribution of the ballots to you. The ballots contain 7 blank spaces. Please indicate your vote by printing the name of a candidate in the space provided. Please print clearly and legibly. If I cannot determine your intention for any reason, including your handwriting, any votes in dispute will not be counted. You may vote for up to and including 7 people. If you vote for more than 7 people, your ballot will be spoiled and none of your votes will be counted. You may write in the name of any member of council even if they have not been nominated. You may only write in the name of a member of City Council. If you write in the name of any other person, that vote cannot be counted. Secret ballots are prohibited by law. You must print your name and sign your ballot in the space provided. If you do not, your ballot will be spoiled and none of your votes will be counted. You must remain seated during the voting process until all ballots have been collected. When you are finished voting, please fold your ballot in half and place it on the ledge in front of your desk for collection. We will collect the ballots when all members have finished voting. After the votes have been counted and announced, I will read the ballots so full transparency is achieved. Members, the voting process is about to begin. Please take your seats and remain seated throughout the process. We'll now distribute the ballots.
The clerk, if I can. You say that we must write in the names. Knowing some people's handwriting styles, maybe it's better if we print. It says write in, but...
That is, in fact, Madam Chair, what the instructions request.
Print. Print.
As long as we can discern your intention, the vote will count. If we can't discern the intention, the vote will be considered spoiled. Yes, that is what I just indicated. They will become part of the public record. They will also, all the votes will be noted in the minutes, and as I said, I will be reading out all of the ballots to indicate how each member voted.
Thank you.
You can put down as many as you like.
Can you do less than 7?
Well, let me go back and
Question is,
read
can you
to
do
you
less
what I
than
just
7?
read. The instructions that I have received say you may vote up to and including 7 people. If you vote for more than 7 people, your ballot will be spoiled.
But can you vote for less than 7 people?
Well, that is included in the statement as you may vote for up to and including 7 people.
Councillor Vaughan, yes?
Would not an absent ballot be an abstention while you're in your seat? Well, we're not allowed to abstain from a vote. We're recorded in the negative if we don't make a declaration of our intent. And so not voting for all 7 is in fact an abstention of sorts, and therefore your declaration hasn't been known, you're not fulfilling your duty. So I think you are actually obliged to vote for 7.
Let's get a legal opinion. Let's defer it for 2 months.
That's the closest thing to a strategy you've had today.
Madam Speaker, the rules are derived from Robert's Rules of Order, and they indicate what I have just read to you, which is up to and including the maximum number of votes, which in this case is 7.
What happens if you can't spell Glenn's last name?
Okay, once you're finished, can you please fold it in half and put it on your desk? Okay, once you've voted, we'll collect them, and then we need to give the staff about a 10-minute so they can count the ballots. Everybody done? Councillor Matlow, please sit. Councillor Davis, please. He's collecting. Okay, if you can remain in your seats while we're collecting. Want to take mine? Okay, members of council, if I can please have you take your seats, please. Okay. I'm going to pass it on to the clerk.
Members, I can now provide to you the results of the first ballot. There were 44 ballots cast, made up of 289 votes out of a possible 308. The number of votes required to elect for each of the 7 positions is 23. There were no spoiled or illegal ballots. The results are as follows. Raymond Cho, 30. Karen Stintz, 26. John Parker, 26. Maria Ajameri, 26. Glenda Bearmaker, 26. Cesar Palacio, 20. James Pasternak, 19. Josh Cole, 37. Jay Robinson, 22. Gary Crawford, 19. Peter Milchin, 37. Gord Perks, 0. Michael Thompson, as a write-in, 1. The following nominees have received a majority of ballots cast and are hereby declared elected. Raymond Cho, Karen Stintz, John Parker, Maria Ajameri, Glenda Bearmaker, Josh Cole, Peter Milchin. Since 7 members have been elected, no further ballots are required. I have been asked to read each ballot, which I will now proceed to do. The votes The votes from each ballot will also be reproduced in the minutes of this meeting. The first ballot.
No, there's been a request, so that you have to do it.
The first ballot is that of Councillor Ajameri, who voted for Raymond Cho, Karen Stintz, John Parker, Maria Ajameri, Glenda Bearmaker, Josh Cole, and Peter Milchin. Councillor Min Wong voted for Cesar Palacio, Gary Crawford, James Pasternak, Jay Robinson, Josh Cole, and Maria Ajameri. Councillor Bailaung voted for Karen Stintz, John Parker, Peter Milchin, Josh Cole, Maria Ajameri, Cesar Palacio, and Raymond Cho. Michael Thompson voted for Cesar Palacio, Glenda Bearmaker, James Pasternak, Josh Cole, Jay Robinson, Gary Crawford, and Karen Stintz. Councillor Carroll voted for Karen Stintz, Raymond Cho, Maria Ajameri, Glenda Bearmaker, Josh Cole, Jay Robinson, and John Parker. Councillor Delgrand voted for Cesar Palacio, James Pasternak, Jay Robinson, Gary Crawford, and Peter Milchin. Councillor Kelly voted for Cesar Palacio, James Pasternak, Josh Cole, Jay Robinson, Peter Milchin, and Michael Thompson. Councillor Grimes voted for Peter Milchin, Gary Crawford, Jay Robinson, James Pasternak, Cesar Palacio, and Josh Cole. Councillor Robinson voted for Jay Robinson, James Pasternak, Josh Cole, and Gary Crawford. Councillor McConnell voted for Karen Stintz, Maria Ajameri, Raymond Cho, Glenda Bearmaker, Peter Milchin, John Parker, and Josh Cole. Councillor Crawford voted for Cesar Palacio, James Pasternak, Jay Robinson, Gary Crawford, Peter Milchin, Josh Cole, and John Parker. Councillor Milchin voted for Karen Stintz, John Parker, Maria Ajameri, Josh Cole, Cesar Palacio, Gary Crawford, and Peter Milchin. Mayor Ford voted for Palacio, Milchin, Crawford, Robinson, Pasternak, Cole, and Cho. Councillor Mamalidi voted for Robinson, Palacio, Crawford, Milchin, Pasternak, Cho, and Cole. Councillor Lindsay Luby voted for Cho, Stintz, Parker, Ajameri, de Bearmaker, Cole, and Milchin. Councillor de Bearmaker voted for Cho, Milchin, Stintz, DeBaremaker, Cole, Ajamari, and Parker. Deputy Mayor Holliday voted for Palacio, Robinson, and Crawford. Councillor Ford voted for Palacio, Milchin, Crawford, Pasternak, Robinson, and Cho. Councillor Ainsley voted for Palacio, Milchin, Crawford, Robinson, Pasternak, Cho, and Cole. Councillor Palacio voted for Palacio, Robinson, Crawford, Milchin, Pasternak, and Cole. Councillor Crisanti voted for Robinson, Cho, Palacio, Crawford, Milchin, and Pasternak. Councillor Fletcher voted for Cho, DeBaremaker, Cole, Ajamari, Stintz, Parker, and Milchin. Councillor Cole voted for Cole, Stintz, DeBaremaker, Milchin, Cho, Ajamari, and Parker. Councillor Fragadakis voted for Cho, Stintz, Parker, Ajamari, DeBaremaker, Cole, and Milchin. Councillor Fillion voted for Cho, Stintz, Parker, Ajamari, DeBaremaker, Cole, and Milchin. Councillor Mihevik voted for Cho, Stintz, Parker, Ajamari, Cole, DeBaremaker, and Milchin. Councillor Vaughn voted for Cho, Stintz, Ajamari, DeBaremaker, Cole, Parker, and Milchin. Councillor Nunziata voted for Robinson, Palacio, Crawford, Milchin, Pasternak, Cole, and DeBaremaker. Councillor Doucette voted for Cho, Stintz, Parker, Ajamari, DeBaremaker, Cole, and Milchin. Councillor Stintz voted for Cho, Stintz, Parker, Ajamari, DeBaremaker, Cole, and Milchin. Councillor Shiner voted for Milchin, Crawford, Robinson, Pasternak, and Palacio. Councillor Pasternak voted for Crawford, Robinson, Pasternak, Palacio, and Parker. Councillor Cho voted for Cho, Stintz, Parker, Ajamari, DeBaremaker, Cole, and Milchin. Councillor Davis voted for Cho, Stintz, Ajamari, DeBaremaker, Cole, Parker, and Milchin. Councillor Matlow voted for Stintz, Parker, DeBaremaker, Cho, Ajamari, Milchin, and Cole. Councillor Lee voted for Cho, Stintz, Parker, Ajamari, DeBaremaker, Cole, and Milchin. Councillor Berardinetti voted for Robinson, Crawford, Cole, Pasternak, Milchin, Palacio, and Ajamari. Councillor Perks voted for Ajamari, Cho, DeBaremaker, Cole, Stintz, Parker, and Robinson. Councillor Parker voted for Stintz, Milchin, Ajamari, Cho, DeBaremaker, Cole, and Parker. Councillor Layton voted for Cho, Stintz, Parker, Ajamari, Cole, DeBaremaker, and Milchin. Councillor Wong Tam voted for Cho, Stintz, Parker, Ajamari, DeBaremaker, Cole, and Milchin. Councillor McMahon voted for Cho, Stintz, Pasternak, Cole, Robinson, Milchin, and DeBaremaker. Councillor DeGiorgio voted for Crawford, Milchin, Robinson, Pasternak, Palacio, DeBaremaker, and Cho. Councillor Perruzza voted for Cho, Stintz, Parker, Ajamari, DeBaremaker, Cole, and Milchin. That concludes the voting. We will now proceed to vote for the chair of the TTC.
Okay, thank you. So we will now proceed to elect a chair from among the appointed members of the Commission. I will now call for nominations. If you wish to nominate a member, please press the Request to Speak button, and I will recognize members in that order. Please state the name of the member you are nominating. You are not entitled to speak to the nomination. Councillor Mihevik.
No, it has to be one of the. Madam Speaker, it is with great pleasure that I nominate Karen Stintz to be the chair of the TTC.
Councillor Mammoliti.
I nominate Councillor Cho to be chair of the TTC.
Councillor Grimes.
I nominate Councillor Peter Milchin, chair of the TTC.
Councillor Crisanti.
No, thank you.
Okay.
Who's nominating Michael?
Yes, Councillor Cho?
Yeah, I would decline the nomination. I will not accept the nomination.
Okay. Councillor Cho is declining. Councillor Stintz, can you please stay in your seat? And Councillor Fletcher. No lobbying, Councillor Stintz, while we're voting. Councillor Stintz. Councillor Fletcher. Councillor Ainsley.
Yeah, back behind the rail. Go back a bit. Back.
Okay. All right, so what's, do we put the motions up or? Oh, yeah, okay. Are there any further nominations? Are there any further nominations? I will ask a third and final time, are there any further nominations? The nominations are now closed. Okay, now the nominees are entitled to address City Council for up to 5 minutes with no extension. Members, the rules for the election of a chair are different than the rules for the election of people to multiple positions. One difference is that there are no questions of the nominees for the chair. Another is that nominees address council in alphabetical order. I will now call upon the nominees in alphabetical order to address City Council. Councillor Milchin.
Can I have a moment?
Pardon?
I'll decline to speak.
Thank you. Okay. Councillor Milchin is declining to speak. Councillor Stintz.
I'll decline to speak. No.
You don't have to speak if you don't want to.
I'll decline to speak as well.
All right. Members of Council, I will now call upon the City Clerk to instruct you on the balloting for Chair of the TTC. As I have already mentioned, the rules for selecting a chair are different than the rules for electing people to multiple positions. Please listen carefully to the Clerk.
Members, we will now proceed to the balloting for Chair of the Toronto Transit Commission. There is only one position to elect. It requires a majority of ballots cast to be elected. If no candidates receive a majority on the first ballot, well, which won't happen, a second ballot will be conducted. Unlike the ballot we conducted earlier in the evening, the nominee with the fewest votes and nominees with no votes will be removed from the next ballot. We are now going to distribute the ballots to you. The ballot contains a single blank space. Please indicate your vote by printing the name of a candidate in the space provided. Please, again, print clearly and legibly. If I cannot determine your intention for any reason, including your handwriting, your ballot will be considered spoiled and not counted. You may only vote for one person. If you vote for more than one person, your ballot will be spoiled and your vote not counted. You may write in the name of any of the 7 members appointed to the Commission, even if they have not been nominated. You may only write in the name of a Commission member. If you write in the name of any other person, your ballot will again be spoiled and your vote not counted. As you know, secret ballots are prohibited by law. You must print your name and sign your ballot in the space provided. If you do not, your ballot will be spoiled and your vote not counted. You must remain seated during the voting process until all ballots have been collected. When you are finished voting, please fold your ballot in half and place it on the ledge in front of your desk for collection. We will collect the ballots when all members have finished voting. Members, the voting process is about to begin. Please take your seats and remain seated throughout the process. We are distributing the ballots.
Yes, he is. Actually, he's a rapacious wit. So he's suggesting that we just give the last hour of council to Anthony. So I'll give her time. He can stand and talk about whatever he wants for an hour. For an hour. Yeah.
We're mentally exhausted. Maybe we can just discuss the actually everybody. We're just mentally tired.
I've got. Okay, Madam Clerk.
Members, I now have the results of the election for chair of the TTC. There were 43 ballots cast. The number of votes required to elect is 22. There were no spoiled or illegal ballots. The results are as follows. For Peter Milchin, 19 votes. For Karen Stintz, 24 votes. I hereby declare Karen Stintz elected as chair of the Toronto Transit Commission. I will read the names of the members casting votes for each of the two candidates. The votes from each ballot will also be reproduced in the minutes of this meeting. For Karen Stintz, Councillors Doucette, Councillor Stintz, Councillor Cho, Councillor Davis, Councillor Matlow, Councillor Chin Lee, Councillor Perks, Councillor McMahon, Councillor Perruzza, Councillor Wong Tam, Councillor Layton, Councillor Parker, Councillor Vaughn, Councillor Mihevik, Councillor Fillion, Councillor Fragadakis, Councillor Cole, Councillor Fletcher, Councillor McConnell, Councillor DeBearmaker, Councillor Lindsay Luby, Councillor Carroll, Councillor Bailão, Councillor Thompson. The councillors who voted for Peter Milchin are as follows. Councillor Belgrand, Councillor Nunziata, Councillor Kelly, Councillor Minan Wong, Councillor Ajameri, Councillor Ainsley, Mayor Ford, Councillor Mamalidi, Deputy Mayor Holliday, Councillor Ford, Councillor Crawford, Councillor Robinson, Councillor Grimes, Councillor Milchin, Councillor Crisanti, Councillor Palacio, Councillor DeGiorgio, Councillor Berardinetti, Councillor Shiner, and those are the votes for chair.
Okay. Okay. On the item as amended for everything now. This includes the whole day that we've discussed and voted on. Recorded vote.
Councillor Kelly, please. Councillor Thompson. Councillor Ajamari, please. Councillor Shiner. This is on the item as amended.
Councillor Mihevc and Fillion, please.
Councillor Perruzza.
Councillor Ford, please.
Councillor Davis, please. Councillor Carroll, please.
Councillor Fillion, please.
The item is amended, carries 32 to 10.
Okay.